According to my watch, it is 6 p.m. and following in Mitch Hodson's tradition, I will call this meeting to order promptly at 6 p.m. Because otherwise, Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, we got to do roll call.
Oh.
Terry Moyer. Here. James Coyle.
Here.
Scott Patchin.
Here.
Louis-Reindl is absent. Sarah Morrow.
Present.
Tyler Munson.
Here.
All right.
Now we can do it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, proof of posting. Copy of the notice was delivered to the following on April 28th, fax to the Star News, Lake Ridge Bank, posted at the Black Earth Municipal Building, Black Earth Post Office, and Black Earth webpage. Public input. Anybody from the public wish to speak? Seeing none, we'll move along. Review of the village board structure after the April 4th, 2023 election.
All right, so election results, Terry is our new president. We have trustees of 2-year terms, Tyler Munson and Scott Patchin, those both expire in 2025, along with Sarah Morrow in 2025, and then James Coyle and Pam's positions will be expiring in 2024. And there's also a vacancy with Terry moving into the president's seat, expiring in 2024. We did receive all oaths of office within the 5 days, so everyone is okay to be here.
Okay. Do we need a motion on that?
Nope.
Nope, we're good to go. Thank you very much. Discussion action of appointment of Mitch Hodson to vacant trustee position. I would like to move to appoint Mitch to seat for for the last term of the expiring, of the vacancy. That's expiring in April of 2024.
I'll second.
Any discussion or action? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mitch, you can now speak at the...
Swear you in.
Yep.
If you'd like to come up here, I have a
Sure.
cheat sheet for you if you'd like.
You okay, James?
Huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, because I don't think you need to vote on, I mean, you appointed him.
No, this board still votes on it.
You still have to.
Yep, you have to.
Yep.
So if you want to repeat after me.
Yep.
So I, Mitch Hodson,
I, Mitch Hodson,
having been elected, you've been appointed, to the office of village trustee,
office of village trustee,
but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof,
and have not yet entered upon the duties of,
swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
and will faithfully discharge the duties of office, said office, to the best of my abilities. Thank you.
I have your,
Oh, I kind of know who I am.
no, it's a new person.
Thank you. Guy. We just didn't want to have to buy another one.
Okay. Discussion action on committee member appointment.
All right. Let me get mine.
Thank you.
Be handing them out, so Terry worked on filling all of the seats based on your suggestions. We'll take a look through.
Actually, Mitch and I worked together on this last week and just kind of went through where we were last last year and what people had chosen, and then tried to keep a number in mind for each board member to make sure everybody was equally represented. So you'll see some where you're alternate and some where you're assigned committee. Some, I think we kept the same, I mean, I'm gonna do fire again, that was the same. There's been a lot of changes.
Being listed on the board here does not necessarily mean being the president of that, right? That's
Committee.
Committee, it's yet to
No,
be
that's a
determined.
committee
Yeah,
decision once the
decision.
committees start to meet.
Yeah,
Unless the village president sits on that committee.
yeah.
If they elect, they can be the chair.
I also followed Mitch's kind of example from last year, so you'll see I'm alternate on quite a few of them, just as point of order. Well, I'll give you some time to look at it, but does anybody have any questions or any glaring issue that you'd like to address?
The other thing we didn't know, obviously, when we sat down too, is by doing the Survey Monkey, we don't have the choice of who wants what first, second, third, or fourth, so we really
Yeah.
didn't have that to the advantage.
I put as a comment, if you wanted to rank them, you could put it in the comment box.
Yeah. Okay.
After I filled that survey out, I forgot to say that if you don't want to be on the Gateway to Drift list, that was one that I was also interested in.
Oh.
But also, not be upset if I was not on it. And FYI.
So the challenge we ran into that last year, so Jared was appointed to that, but they meet for like an hour and a half during the middle of the day.
Yep.
So it's hard for
Yep.
like a regular type of
And it
job.
wasn't Zoom before.
Yeah.
Yep. When I'm in the city, I'm working from home.
Okay,
Sorry, village, when I'm in the village, I'm working from home, so it's fairly easy for me to step out for
Okay.
2-3 hours. I work enough overtime that I just tell my boss that I'm gonna leave for hours if I need to. Doesn't seem like that meets too often.
no, it
either, so,
doesn't. The way Peter talked, it's like a quarterly meeting.
Yeah.
I don't think their next meeting's till July.
Yeah,
I think it was like July 16th or something, because he and I had talked.
yeah.
Did you want that committee?
I would be happy to be on that committee if you would like.
In addition to what you've been assigned already?
Sure.
We could make that change. Seems like it's an area that interests you.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
a geologist naturalist, so yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you want to be alternate or would you want
Yeah.
to remain? Okay.
Maybe the
we
place to
can.
meet's up around that way.
Yeah, but let's make that change
Gateway.
to Tyler. And then I will notify,
I came to class on Saturday.
Peter's online too.
oh, Peter, are you there, Peter?
I am, yes.
So are you making that note? We're going to appoint Tyler to be the Gateway Committee representative with either Danny or I as alternate, depending on the schedule.
Excellent. Thank you, Tyler. And we are considering meeting early evenings as well. And we'll use a scheduling app to send out, I'll say, availability for future meetings. We'll try and do them about a month ahead. And Terry is right that when I spoke with her, we're probably not going to meet again until late June or early July.
That's good. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Any other changes or questions to consider? Hearing none, this is a
After
motion.
it's approved, then I could.
Yep. Okay. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the committees as presented.
So moved. Second.
Second by Mitch. Or if they tied, whoever you want.
Who's it time?
They tied. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Danny's gonna administer the oath of office for committees.
So we will
Do that within the committee? Okay.
Everyone's already good.
All right.
So for everyone online, and just for the record, for YouTube, for Black Earth Joint Fire, it'll be Terry Moyer with Mitch Hobson as alternate. Board of Appeals is Mitch Hobson, Scott Patchin, Tom Marks as a citizen member, Dylan Helmenstein is a citizen member, Tom Farrell is a citizen member, and Terry Moyer as first alternate, with Tyler Munson being second alternate. Board of Review is Pam Louis-Reindl, Sarah Morrow, Terry Moyer, with Mitch Hobson and Scott Patchin as alternates. Dane, Iowa is James Coyle, and Norm Hahn is a citizen member. I did talk to him on the phone today, and he's still interested in serving. And Mitch Hobson will be alternate. District 1 EMS will be Pam Louis-Reindl with Terry Moyer as alternate. Economic Development will be board members Tyler Munson, Pam Louis-Reindl, Mitch Hobson. Michelle Reels finishing out her term. It'll be expiring in 2024. Tom Marks as a citizen member for a 3-year term expiring in 2026. The Chamber of Commerce and Peter with the Gateway or another Gateway representative. And then Terry Moyer as alternate. Emergency Management will be James Coyle, Tyler Munson, Sarah Morrow with Terry Moyer as alternate. Gateway to the Drift List with the change to Tyler Munson as representative and either Terry or myself as alternate. Library Board will be Sarah Morrow with Terry as alternate. Parks Committee will be James Coyle, Scott Patchin, Mitch Hobson. Lori Stotts is finishing out her term, expiring in 2024 as a citizen member. New appointee would be Ben Voss for a 3-year term expiring in 2026, and Terry Moyer as alternate. Plan Commission is James Coyle, Tyler Munson, Scott Patchin as board members, with Dylan Helmenstein, Tom Marks, Tom Farrell, and Sybil Wood as citizen members, and Pam Louis-Reindl as alternate. Police will be Sarah Morrow, Mitch Hobson, Jen Schutz as citizen member, with a term expiring in 2024, and James Coyle as alternate. Public Works will be Tyler Munson, Pam Louis-Reindl, Scott Patchin, with Terry Moyer as alternate, and Vanguard will be Terry Moyer, and then the Public Works Chair, whenever that is established at the first meeting, with Mitch Hobson being alternate.
Thank you very much. Number 8, discussion action approval of the meeting minutes from April 11th. They were in your packet. I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
Second.
I'll second.
Minutes to review, if you have it. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Motion carried with one edit. Number 9, discussion action resolution 2023-01, low mow May.
So I kind of want to get ahead of this for this year. Since last year, we got a lot of calls to the office about no-mow May for neighboring communities, and lots of signs going up in people's yards about not mowing. Since we didn't have anything official, people were wary about getting tickets or, cited for wanting to follow it. There's a lot of confusion. I just wanted to get something out there and approved so people know what to do and what to expect. So I was doing research on no-mow, and I came across mow less or low-mow May, where mowing less frequently, about 10 to 14 days versus weekly, doesn't damage the grass so much when you cut it. You're only supposed to cut off like 3.5 inches. If you let it go too much, it's a lot of a shock to the grass, and the part of the photosynthesis that all happens. It's easier if you take little trims instead of a big old chop. So that's why I was putting forward low-mow May to suspend citations for any grass that are growing to help support pollinators and other hibernating insects. So that is the purpose of this, and then just have something solidified to say in the office, yes, this has been approved by the board, versus, well, we're just not really enforcing it, so a little bit more official.
So you're just looking for no enforcement through May, right?
Yes, and it'll be through,
June eighth or
June 8th.
something.
so give them the weekend to clean up the yard. This does not apply to noxious weeds or any other type of things like that would be.
How do you prevent them from growing?
I was gonna say, if that grows in the middle of the yard.
For one month, it ain't gonna make
I know,
much difference.
So there's still, we have an ordinance against noxious weeds, so it still would be in effect.
If somebody
So
wanted
like
to participate in this and they
this'll-
wanted to avoid a fine, they would have to go out and actually get down on their hands and knees or take the mower out to that one spot. Or they could just not participate.
Well, I just don't think we should be messing with it, is my own personal view. One possible objection to no mow May could be that unmown lawns may create an unsightly appearance in residential areas, which could reduce property values and negatively impact the aesthetics of the neighborhood. Additionally, some people may be concerned about potential safety hazards that could arise from lawn grass, such as increased risk of tripping or attracting pests like ticks and mosquitoes. Others can argue that lawn maintenance is a necessary aspect of property ownership and that skipping a month of mowing could result in an overgrown and difficult to manage lawn. There may be concerns about potential fire hazards that could result from tall, unkept dry grass during hot and dry summer months. Ultimately, the decision to participate in no mow May is up to individuals and their personal beliefs and priorities. It's essential to weigh the potential benefits of supporting biodiversity and environmental health against the potential drawbacks and make a decision based on what is best for your own specific situation. I don't think it's up to us to interfere with existing stuff, so that's my position on it.
Well, this is not a requirement of
It's not, you don't have to.
property owners to participate.
No,
No,
How many calls would you say you got last year of people worried that they were gonna get a ticket?
I mean, it wasn't like hundreds, but.
Dozen?
I'm gonna make a motion to just waive the fees for November, or for May, of any citations.
To.
Well,
Or any citations for grass mowing,
lawn.
for lawn care, yeah, for lawn.
All
So that's what that
citations.
resolution-
Yeah, all citations for May.
So is that in support of the resolution, because that's establishing what the resolution is saying? Is-
Yes.
Okay,
I second it. Grass doesn't grow that much in the one.
I mean, if most people aren't gonna, they're gonna mow the lawn anyways.
Can I ask one, okay, so we have a motion and a second. Can I ask one question? How do you do the parks then?
Well, we're gonna mow.
We're gonna mow.
Okay, yeah,
so those mostly focus
You know,
on property.
okay.
And this really doesn't,
Property owners,
you know, they
okay.
kinda talk about this for bees and stuff,
Yeah.
right? And the thing is, if you don't have dandelions and stuff in your yard, it
You're not
doesn't do any
gonna-
good not to mow it.
Yeah,
So you don't have the flowers and the weeds to help support the bees anyway,
Okay.
so.
we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
aye.
Motion carries. Number 10, discussion and action on chicken license. There were two, chicken license applications included in your packet, one for 1921 Center Street for Michaela Meggs, one at 1412 Blue Mound Street for Elena Caminetti. Both included descriptions and, I think, examples of their proposed improvements. And I'm assuming, since you haven't, that fees have been paid?
All neighbors have been notified and everything?
Yeah, so they have until, so I would, just like the last chicken license, or the one previous would be, to approve pending notifications, they technically have until May 10th to, the neighbors have to have until May 10th to respond.
Make a motion to approve the chicken license pending neighbor notifications.
Oh, second. Motion and a second. Not any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Two more chicken coops in town. All right. Discussion action summer hours for Village Hall. I asked Danny to do a little survey around areas regarding summer hours for the office. We already do have summer hours for the Public Works Department. The library hours aren't affected by summer hours, no. Village Hall staff, or the, office staff has never really been included in that, but does seem to be the norm within business now. And how do you adjust your hours then, Danny? What, you work, does it increase the hours Monday through Thursday, I'm assuming?
Yes, so Beth and I talked about it to be 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday, 8 to noon on Friday.
What'd we do last year?
We talked about it, and then they didn't really wanna do it, right? And you weren't sure.
No, they wanted to do it, it just never went through.
No.
I mean, it never got to an action state.
There wasn't an agreement with everyone.
So I'm thinking, and then what would start Memorial, for this first year, or Memorial Day through Labor Day? You guys go daylight savings to end?
We typically, this year, we went from first week of April, and then usually go to deer hunting more or less, so
Okay.
close to daylight savings time for
Daylight
each.
savings time.
So, I guess the concern with our situation was winter time, we had snow to plow on Friday, you know, that might run into a little more overtime and that, so that was the reason for going back to the normal 8-hour days, Monday
8-hour
through
days,
Friday,
Monday through
for
Friday,
the winter.
And I think my feeling is for an initial, trial period, I think it's a fair offering. If they do Memorial Day to Labor Day, we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be publicized on a website, it'll be, posted.
Yeah, so I make posters right away, put them up as soon as possible. It'll go out in the June bill, May's already been mailed, obviously, for May 1st. I make a Facebook post for the, police department to post, and I'd ask the library to share it. And the Patchin and Black Earth Facebook group is really popular. If you don't have a page, I would just post it on the website, and ask them to share it, and then at the post.
What are the village hours that are, or the summer hours that are being
So the,
discussed?
8 to 5, Monday through Thursday, and then 8 to noon on Friday, so Fridays.
I'll move that we approve summer hours pending a trial this year.
A second.
But what's a trial to you? If
No,
if we start getting negative feedback right away,
Well, then we'll have
Does
to
it
get back to
stop?
the board.
Yeah,
We'd have to come back to the board,
we'll have to go back to the board.
which can be done anytime.
But I think with proper notification, and it is a norm, it's a business norm, Public Works already does it.
So 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday, and 4-hour, not early Friday, so it's still 40 hours then?
Yep.
That 40 hours, aren't there lunches, do there have to be lunches that have to be allotted in the 8 to 5 on Monday through Thursday, or?
If I leave, then I clock out for,
I'm just wondering if that
I
causes
mean, we
any,
don't close for,
The office is
close for
staffed
lunch hour.
from
Yeah.
8 to 5. Lunches are worked within the staff.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, but I don't know what the rules are as far as whether you're allowed to work through a lunch or not, if you're,
Wisconsin law doesn't require mandatory lunch breaks, any breaks.
even for hourly employees.
Correct.
Don't even have to give breaks, like.
For adults.
That's what I was worried about.
Not in California.
How does this work with the pending training coming up that we're gonna be closed?
So it would be after, so it'd be Memorial Day.
I see,
Yeah.
okay, got it.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor for a summer hour for the village office staff? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Danny, discussion action, village office closures for staff training for the proposed date.
Yes, so just what Scott was alluding to. So back in February, if you read my note in here, the civic training or Patel training, was approved, and in order for Beth and I to cross-train, which is really important, it would make sense for both of us to be in the training at the same time instead of spending all the money twice to have it with one of us at a time. It would not be possible to focus on the training that they're doing, plus also answering phones, having people come in. Just wouldn't be good use of time or use of money for it. So to get the most out of it, I would ask for those days to be closed so we can focus on training, getting the most out of it, taking good notes, learning all we can for that. So good thing it's not like it's closed for an entire week. It's kind of split up 2 days and then 2 days and kind of staggered, so it's not an entire week of being closed.
And there's 2 days that you don't train till the afternoon, so those mornings are open. Yeah.
Can we ask Joanne Turk to come in and see if she'll be willing to
Answer phones?
answer
I think we
phones?
need somebody there for the phones, yeah.
Yeah, I think even if you pay somebody to come in part-time, so
Yeah.
they can do it
I
here.
mean, she's done it,
Right.
She's done it before,
Yeah.
yeah.
so she knows everything that needs to be done.
I think that's really.
Who is that? Joanne Turk. She used to do
Yeah.
it here. I don't know, but, I mean, you guys got part-time people to come in, so why can't we get somebody?
No, I'm not arguing, I just
Yeah.
didn't know if she was okay with
I
it.
don't know if she'd want to either, but who knows? I just,
But let's try-
somebody,
let's try to
here,
find
get somebody,
somebody.
let's get somebody to come in.
Not necessarily, yeah. Okay.
At least the phones are answered, right? Or.
And there's a
Take
body in
notes.
the office, yeah. If it was June, I would be off school, I could sit next to him.
Or take off early.
Yeah, take off early. So,
You and
Full training.
You'd still be here.
in the office,
Yeah.
the,
I mean, we
Back
can return
office.
them after 4:30.
Yeah.
They leave messages, we can always leave back after we're done training.
Are you planning to train in the office
Yeah,
itself?
it'd be, because it's Zoom, so we'd have to be at our
Can
workstation.
it be out here?
Well, it's on our actual computers.
Can it be in the office?
They'll be,
In our office, they close doors, someone comes in.
Yeah.
But I think she's saying they have to each be at their own workstation.
Yeah.
They can't
Because we'll
just sit
be-
together at a computer,
Yeah.
they each have to be at their workstation because they're going through the software and the programming at their
their
workstation.
applications are on
Yep,
each one
so
of
they
the
can't just
desktops.
sit at one together in the back office,
Yeah.
but.
so are you able to forward the
That's what I'm
phone to the phone that's in the office so that they don't ring and interrupt you, and then whoever would be just answering phones would
Yeah.
just be back there with the door closed,
Yeah,
so.
Well, you could actually even put a note on the door.
And then put a note on the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or.
Or the phones back here, yeah.
That'd be all right.
And then the office hours will be held out of this room. Yep. If this room's not, I mean, this room's not booked.
Coffee room, double this, not kidding. Just kidding.
I'm pulling up the schedule.
And the conference room schedule here, it's not coming up.
Have to check the office.
Okay. But I do like James's idea of maybe trying to find a possible temp, just to sit in the office as a body.
It's helpful.
Only to answer the phones though,
Yeah.
not to.
Well, if somebody comes in.
Yeah.
Just answer
I
phones.
mean, they can say, we
Keep the
can't,
notes.
yeah.
Just keep the notes of
Yeah.
what they are, and then people can follow up on it, I'm
So
all
for
for
like
that.
facility payments, I mean, for like money handling, that's,
Well, I mean, they can leave the payments here, or they can put them in the Dropbox.
Dropbox.
If they need a receipt, they'll have to come back.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's helpful, the library is not having story time for art during May. So you wouldn't have to worry about like don't
Oh,
know.
that's good to know.
I don't know what else.
Our roommate.
I try to stay loose during May,
Yeah.
but I know that we're not doing that, which is usually our day.
When is usually coffee with the cop?
It won't be during that time.
Okay, won't be during that time, okay. Because I know that,
It'll be the
Yeah.
second Thursday.
okay. All right. So, I'd entertain a motion based on those recommendations though for follow-up.
So would you have it 8 to 4:30, or would you do like a limit like 10 to 4, depending on who can?
Well, I think even if we could get 6 hours of coverage a day, in those days, like a 10 to 4.
Yeah, and there's no reason they can't leave a message on the machine and we clear those off.
Yeah, at night, yeah. But I think if we could find a temp that would actually be a person here from 10 to 4 on those days, 6 hours out of that shift, that would be good. All right. What are you thinking, James? No?
You want a motion for, I can make a motion for someone to come in and work 10 to 4.
Well, I think we need a motion to approve the village hours, the closures.
It could all be one.
Oh.
motion.
Yeah,
It could be one motion.
the motion should be to approve the village office hours as proposed for training, including your suggestion of obtaining some part-time help for that period of time. Temporary part-time help.
I'll make a motion to approve.
What's the matter, May?
No, go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the village office hour closures as presented, pending finding a temp help to man the phones between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m.
I'll second.
The other concern, I guess, would be just from the office. So if we get a temp that doesn't know the village, I don't know how much help it would be if they're asking to reserve a park or.
Messages.
They would be basic trained and say, sorry, I'm a temp and I'll have to speak to the manager, I'll let the manager know. Would be my recommendation. Skeleton staff.
Can I just point out that the answering machine might even be a more effective way to do that? I mean, just
Depends who we can get,
if you leave a message and then somebody knowledgeable calls you back and can help you, it might be more valuable than somebody answering the phone
Right.
and saying, I can't help you, can you call back when someone's here?
Yeah, I agree with
Not
you.
a bad
I think
idea.
there's not a message that can't be left on that machine, cleared off at the end of the day, prioritized and gotten back to, so.
That would be better. Do you want to amend your motion? We haven't a second on that yet. Yes, we did. Mitch, a second.
Yeah, I second.
I'll amend the motion to just approve this as presented, relying on.
I will second. Okay. Now we have that. First motion was to approve the hours with part-time staff. The amended motion is to approve the hours as presented with no part-time help, just relying on answering machine and follow-up, prompt follow-up at the end. Okay.
Yep.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Discussion action, 2021 geo note borrowing.
So you have the, as requested at the last meeting, a little spreadsheet of what's been submitted so far. Who's in one of the final pieces? You got that?
Yeah.
I saw it somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought, okay. So that's just what has been decided, so street sweeper, the engineering plans for roads, the well house roof, and at the top is the available money to spend. So a lot of that has been freed up, so if we wanted to, if we don't know if we're going to pay anything for the next 3 months, 6 months, we can reinvest a portion of that. If we know we're going to be spending it, we can sit on it for a little bit, but if we can still invest it without any arbitrage issues, I would like to reinvest it.
How long do we have for that?
We can go 3 months.
Yeah, you can.
3 more months?
Yeah.
You
You don't have to do it all either. You could say.
No, but you'd wanna get back in,
You know, so if you want 500,000 for 3 months, or if you want
yeah.
250 for 6 and then 250 for 3, you can break it up that way. So that's an option too. So I just would hate to sit and not make a decision for another, you know, if we're not buying the street sweeper right this second, we can reinvest that amount.
How much of the committed money is gonna be used in the next 3 months paid out? Do we know?
I don't. We did a little bit of work for, in one of the, we'll get to it in invoices for, Town and Country, less than 10,000, which is their kind of work in progress for, some of that, engineering plan work.
Street sweep broke them out.
Well, the street sweeper's gonna happen in the next month.
Yeah, that's what I mean, that's gotta come out. That-
Right,
So what do we-
State till,
Would it be
maybe
safe
this
to
month.
say we reinvest the remaining money of 760,358?
unless there's
For
some
3 months?
other,
Well-
unless there's other projects that are,
You know, this
What
puts our
you're saying,
hands,
what-
this puts our hands off of this money 3 months.
Yeah, how much of that, I mean, you already got this money here.
I say go with $500,000 and keep the rest out.
Could do that.
We also have,
Is your thought on that, Mitch, that basically there's no project that's gonna be approved by,
Well, you can even include
Money
it, when's
out.
the payment due? Because interest is pretty good right now, so
yeah,
it adds up
you
pretty
could
fast.
float it with spending like LGIP and putting it back when we get the money.
Yeah.
So that's an option. It's not like we don't have any liquidity of any of this, so.
there's
That's what we
ARPA funds still available for
Yep.
some.
And
Part of
I
it-
still wanna sit on it and not, you know, just
Right.
have it hang and not be able to do anything with it when we could be making some without restriction.
and if it gets invested, what is the liquidity of it if we need to
Probably a 3
get back
months is
in
what
3
we
months?
Yeah, we could do
to-
3 months, we could do 6, we could do partial,
But before we, reinvest, I have one, it's actually a follow-up from my library board meeting, but, the library is wondering if they can obtain a very small portion of the funds to go toward their project work, as far as architectural and doing space studies, and they would be looking at 20 to 25,000. Now, I did have Danny check with ours, and the library is eligible for the GO funds.
yeah, it's a specific project expense, so
Yeah.
engineering, or, architect fees would be a part of it since it is a project.
And as the library, as a department of the village, I think it's an opportunity for them to share in some of the funds. You know, there's limits, that's why they were looking at hopefully 25,000, but 20 would be.
And 10,000 is already cut from
Yeah, it's
the,
money we're borrowing, it's
Yeah,
not
it's
free
not,
money.
it's not fun.
No,
It's
I
not,
know.
we're not getting, it's not like a
We are
grant,
borrowing
it's not like
money.
we got a grant.
Yeah.
No, I know, but
No. I'm not against that, it's just,
But I mean,
Yeah.
study,
spending that kind of money and then you have no money to do anything once the architectural plans are,
I would view a study of that sort similar akin to the water master plan, that education and knowledge are a part of the community just as infrastructure is.
yeah,
So, you need to have that information
move forward on it.
before you make a decision on like a larger plan to expand or not expand.
or like the, engineering plans.
So you want that for discussion on another agenda?
that discussion
It's not
action
actually on
on
this
the
one.
borrowing, though. We could do it.
We could do it tonight.
How soon would you need the money? Would it be upfront, or would it be 6
It's
months?
not upfront, they bill monthly, but it would be within the next 3 months, about a 2 to 3 month project. And the kickoff for it is like May 15th, so it would probably be.
If they can, I can just email her and she puts it in as their next day. So like the 3 months would start.
But even if you went to 3-month investment and we paid it 3 months, I mean, you've already got the money to do it. You've already committed to doing the project, so you gotta pay for it somehow. So, I mean, either way, it doesn't matter, but it's only, you're only talking 25,000.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Question would be, that project was put out to bid, right?
Yes.
So if we change the scope, budget is doubled, what's being discussed essentially, right? It was approved for 10,000?
no,
No.
out of our budget, not theirs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, out of our, there is,
So the onus was on us to find the money, other than the 10,000, to pay it for.
We've already
The
committed
architecture,
yeah,
the architecture. I had budgeted
You did.
in the budget, and because of the discussions that we were having, we took it down to 10,000.
Yeah.
But the actual cost of doing something like that is more like 32,000. So that's just a lot of slack for us to try to make up, and it would free up some of our funds to be able to do things like fundraising, things like that, and do a capital campaign, so that we can kind of get donations and rely less on those funds in the future.
This is gonna
So the
cost,
scope-
this project's costing 32,000,
Yes, just for the
and we've
architecture.
already put 10 into it.
And-
Huh?
So you're looking for 22?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
and so what I was getting at is, I was worried that the scope would change and that you'd have to go back to bid and change all the stuff, but that's not what's
No.
gonna happen, it's
No.
just to help
Just
make
how
up
to
the
pay for it.
shortfall.
Yeah.
Got it.
Have the friends contributed?
No, but I am planning to approach them to ask what they would feel comfortable. I know that they've had some really successes lately, so I'm sure that they would be willing to contribute something. I just don't know what that number is. They meet on an as-needed basis, so we haven't met since.
Can you remind me some of the scope of the project? You've already done the study on what the expected growth and needs are gonna be. This is focused on finding a new space to meet those expansion needs, and so it's both looking at possible land acquisition or land development / redevelopment of existing property.
Yeah, and
Okay.
as well as like potential renovation
Grants.
of this space and things
There's
like
a couple
that. Grants would be
funding,
part of
yeah.
the fundraising.
Identify grant possibilities,
And
et cetera.
they'll also put together kind of a rough construction budget, they'll put together some sketches of what that might look like. And they'll also be leading some meetings where the public will be invited to come and give their feedback, tell us what they want from a library, in this community, just so we can make sure it's a super tailored.
So,
I think it's fair to do another 20,000 towards it, and let the friends or them come up with 2.
is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Is there a second?
I will second.
We have a motion and a second to approve 20,000 of the GEO funds to go to the library, architectural studies. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right.
All right.
The, one thing I do wanna say is, have you done anything with the trailer for this fund yet, this fund's prices, have we gotten anything? The gen trailer?
Oh, Jen stuff? No, Sean's
Okay.
busy with.
And the other thing that's not on this list is, we were gonna use some of it for funding, for Beerbecker and Associates. So, I don't know what that number is, but I think we need to at least get all that designated when we can, so we know the true end number.
Okay.
Has there been any if we're talking on spending options, what are the limitations on the GO? No
So
borrowing
the
again?
project-based and things over 10 years in scope. It wouldn't be like office supplies, but it would be building upgrades or
Street
equipment.
projects, buildings.
Yeah.
Could
Like for the
something,
park.
so a project, something that could go over the course of 10 years?
Just its expected life, its expected life is 10.
Would,
You want it to benefit the community and over a 10-year span.
would
Because you'll
creek,
be paying for it over
Yeah.
X amount of years, you want it to have that long of a
Okay.
life.
would like a monitoring project be eligible? Like water levels and discharge throughputs and stuff of creek as a means of benefiting the community
There's already
for emergency management?
There's already a flow monitor at the intersection of Coyle Road and Highway 14.
Yep, but that costs money to upgrade, maintain, and
Yeah, it's
all
not
that sort of
ours,
stuff.
it's just you can go to the DNR website,
Yeah.
has that posted on that, so.
Star News does.
So, the reason I ask is because I actually sat in on a meeting like 3 days ago. The stream gauges and everything up in Cross Plains, are at the end of like a 5-year funding cycle, and nobody really knows how that's gonna get funded. And granted, that's Cross Plains,
Mm-hmm.
but it's upstream of us, and I had the thought when I was sitting in on that as emergency management type guy, it's like, man, it would be really great if we could know 10 minutes ahead of time if there's a problem up there in our way. I don't know if that would be beneficial to our emergency fire guys or not, if we have that fast of a response time, but I didn't know if it would be something of interest to the Village of Black Earth. Help
We could
fund
definitely put it
something
on
like
the
that.
list, it'd just be
Yeah.
an issue of prioritizing. Any other pressing things,
Yeah,
everything.
just a thought, I'm not asking for money now, we're just discussing options,
Yeah.
right?
I can put that on the list.
I think it'd be more valuable instead of a flood related, because you kind of see what's going on and you know what's upstream.
Yeah,
You know, if you could actually do something with the creek and show the different flows, like dig out some of the, and they won't let you do it.
right.
No.
I'm still trying to figure out
So-
how Mazo got done what they got done.
They just probably did
FEMA.
it.
So one of the other things,
FEMA funded that.
FEMA did?
FEMA funded their work?
one of the other things that was brought up in the meeting that I sat through, is there are certain,
They get 'em.
We can do that here.
I forget what it is, like you have to have a certain number of days above a dissolved oxygen concentration of X to be a class 1 trout stream. I said this before in other meetings, I think that creek is the #1 attraction for Black Earth, it's what we've got going for us, and I think keeping that class 1 designation is important. And apparently there were some issues last summer where the creek may have dropped below that status officially, which causes fish kills, et cetera. So part of that monitoring study also involves analytical monitoring of certain things, which allows the DNR to identify whether increased urbanization in Cross Plains is causing issue, it monitors issues, so,
Well, that's kind of what I thought would be valuable,
yeah.
as much as a flood, right?
Yeah.
So,
The list.
well, and that might be also a good, Beerbacker grant thing too,
Mhm.
right?
Are we still talking about potential projects on this list
Yep.
for the money?
Absolutely.
So I want everybody, when they go out tonight, to look at the emergency sign designating the hall as an emergency place to come. And then look at the rest of the building.
Yep.
I think it needs to be washed off, the flashing needs to be, we need to tidy up. So I don't know what that's gonna cost, but I would entertain us looking at it.
Well, we gotta do something with windows too.
I would agree with you, and I think even the interior needs a walkthrough. I think you discovered that, Scott, when you were
I
cleaning,
think
yeah.
there are some local contractors that would love to bid on work like that.
Yeah, yep. Because is this?
So I'd like to keep that on
Yeah,
a high priority list.
I would agree with that. I don't think this building's been painted in terms.
Well, I think we need to get bids.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
So,
So do we wanna do that through, Public Works? Do we wanna do it through?
I think Public Works
Yeah.
for a
Or
good
you could
spot
set
for
a
it.
separate committee up just for a building committee, or,
But either way, whatever. Matt-
Yeah, I don't wanna add anything more to what you're doing, so that's a good suggestion, maybe.
I think it could be like an executive type, or not an executive type committee, but a committee offshoot of the board. Work on,
The only advantage of having him involved in it is during the day, if somebody comes to bid it, he can
walk them
walk
through.
around.
That's true.
yeah, I don't have an issue with being involved,
Yeah.
but like I said, I don't know if you want, just
Maybe we
Public
should
Works
have a little
Committee, or
subcommittee
you want
building.
another.
it seems to me like I would say property, you know, village-owned property like this would fall under grounds, so I would say it'd just be part of the Parks, Grounds, and Rec Committee,
Okay,
in my
we
opinion.
could go there too with it, just so long as
It
that
doesn't get
committee
put on the-
knows, yeah, so long as it doesn't
right.
get bogged down, that's fine with me. Take it to Parks.
To have just a section
Grounds
of the
and
board
recs.
meeting, just to discuss it
Yeah,
also instead
Your
of
shed,
more committees, more.
yeah.
the shed.
It's a shed, yep, that's all it is.
Okay, any other brainstorming future projects or discussion for GO? Okay, moving on. Number 14, discussion action financial reports.
Alright. Fourth quarter is done. I also handed out, this just came out yesterday, this little sheet. So there's a lot of stuff going on in regards to municipal funding. So we helped with that, with sending in that resolution of, that, to the state, saying that our funding is broken, all this kind of stuff. Scott, I think you went to a few meetings on that, and just having local voices heard is really pushing this forward. So, I mean, it's still all preliminary, but this packet is having, there's a bigger share, a majority of the share of the breakout is going to smaller municipalities. A lot of the times it seems like any type of funding goes state, county, and then we get nothing as it comes down. So it's nice, this last page shows how much this would be, an aid increase would be 72%. This is also tied to, get the wording. It'd be adjusted by the rate of growth in state sales tax also. So obviously all these things can still change, but it's good news that things are coming down.
Did we, just before we get too far,
Yeah.
did we ever come up with a number to reinvest? We did
No,
not.
we did not.
No,
So we should probably do that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think we should reinvest for 3 months, the remaining amount of $760,000, 358. The other stuff will not all come due, there'll be plenty of money to pay for the other projects,
What we-
including library,
Okay,
and we have enough in general fund anyways.
Do we need to just take a separate action item on this then?
That was a motion.
that was a
Let's go
motion.
back to 13.
I second that.
So we've gone back to 13GO to reinvest the amount as presented on
The remaining.
the remaining.
For 3 months, you said?
3 months.
3, okay.
Sorry, I just didn't wanna get too far.
Nope, thank you. You have a question, Tyler?
Would you be willing to leave like a little, just in case something comes up?
We
We
have
have the 3
plenty in our general fund.
Okay,
I mean, if $1 million came up, we'd be okay,
yeah.
okay? So,
Okay.
Okay.
And none of the 394 has really been spent.
Actually
It's just,
spent yet, it's just
It's allocated.
allocated, got it. Okay.
All right. No other questions? All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mitch. Now we're back on financial
Okay.
report.
sorry, Danny.
No, thank you.
No,
I
thank you,
was,
Mitch.
I'm a little off track.
The 72% aid increase, how is that calculated? That's 72% of 133,000 is
So we would be
saying
getting,
that there would be,
yeah, so we'd be
like
getting
80,000.
133.
so the supplemental county and municipal aid, that's the 56,000 on top of the 77, okay.
So it's about
yeah.
How
before
do they get the 56,052 from here? I don't see that as an option. Oh, it's the sum of the following, A, B, and C. That's where I got confused. I thought it was an or.
No.
Read closer. That's where, never mind, got it.
I don't know why this is, yeah.
Okay. And then the only, do you know, like, this is for, so this could be for emergency services, would, Mesa would also be,
Funding to us, yes.
Mesa would also get it, so I see this as a way to kind of help solve our looming emergency management, EMS, how do you fund?
Budget crunch, yeah.
That, and if both of us get help, then that makes it a little.
But yeah, don't get your hopes up too high, because it's the beginning stages, but
Okay.
good things coming.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tyler, as far as Mason, since we're in the joint venture with EMS, the more the pile, the bigger the pile, the better, because that's where I think we need to focus. And we're not alone, it's a statewide problem, and rural care is in tatters. Hey.
Okay. What else do you have in financial?
Yeah, I just go talk to Ellers to reinvest that amount and keep it rolling.
Any other questions on financials? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve financials as presented.
Second?
Second?
No, I said, is there a second? Yeah. Motion and a second. No other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Discussion, action, invoices to be paid. I believe, Danny, you distributed those, yep?
Make a motion, we pay the invoices as presented.
Your second?
Okay.
Mitch, second. We have a motion and a second to pay the invoices as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Reports, Vanguard Commission. Isn't he electrical superintendent
We have
report?
not met since last board meeting.
Yeah, okay. Not met since last board meeting, okay. Electrical superintendent report, Sean was not able to join us, but he did give me just a couple updates. He said they've been installing multiple new services. Valerie is doing a great, what is Valerie, is it Barman? No, what is her last name?
Barman.
Valerie Barman. She's doing a great job, in her short time at Vanguard, and the next Vanguard meeting will be May 16th at 6:30. That is May 16th at 6:30.
That's our next meeting,
Yeah,
so I think Scott needs to go to that since there's no new public works before then, right? There won't be any public works.
Right now, yeah.
That'll be after that if we do a
Right.
meeting, yeah. I've got it in my calendar, so,
to go to Vanguard?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Black Earth Fire District, we have not met since our last meeting, but we do meet this Thursday night. I will continue on that board. Dane, Iowa, wastewater.
We met April 20th, normal meeting, approved bills. We did get the true-up back, so the village will be receiving $74,598 back in true-up.
Good year.
Nice.
I mean, it good and it's bad. Just
Yeah.
they gotta get their numbers down so that we're not overpaying that much in the first place, but,
How is that opposed to, like, what was it last year? What was the true up, do you remember?
no, it was 77, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, so they're.
So it stays pretty good.
Yeah, 'cause what it was is a check will come back, but some comes off the bill for 2 months, and then
Oh,
a
okay.
check comes in July or something like that.
So it's been running around 7?
Yeah, it's been running about the same for the last couple of years.
Okay, all right.
Anybody on the how they can fix that?
Yeah. We're trying. The next meeting is May 18th at 6:30 PM.
All right. Economic development. They haven't met. EMS.
They'll be this month too, so.
They'll be this month, okay. Library board, we met on, April 18th. We welcomed a new board member, Dylan Helmenstein. I'm gonna leave most of it for Bailey to update because, and then our next meeting is May 16th, Sarah, which will be your first meeting. Great. And their meetings are done by Zoom. Oh, which is nice. Wonderful. Yep. Yep.
That's at 7?
Yes.
7, yep.
Okay, I still can't get into my village email too, so we'll need to get that resolved.
Okay.
It's better you don't.
So,
Library director report, you're up, Bailey.
so as we discussed, we did hire FEH Design for architectural services, and we're currently I'm currently putting together the core committee of, people who will be involved in that process. It'll be a mix of community members, library board members, and friends of the library too. And they'll be kind of getting the word out of stuff that's happening because we'll be doing some focus groups and things like that. We did update our safety policy. There weren't any major changes, but kind of our systematic review of our policies just to make sure it's up to date and it's still how we're doing. My review is coming up in May. It's been 2 years, can you believe it? And we tomorrow are going to be starting circulating blood pressure monitoring kits, which we got through a grant from the American Heart Association, through a program called Libraries with Heart. So each kit comes with a blood pressure monitor, 2 cups, and then some monitor logs, and then also some like alcohol wipes to make sure everything stays nice and clean. And so we'll be circulating those. I also put together information about local health care, free and reduced health care in the area, as well as some like transportation services that'll take you to.
Are those kids the ones that, like, they check out, take home, and then they'll bring back? Ooh, nice.
Yeah. And then the data will be erased. This was my concern. So
Yeah,
the data will be
that's
erased at the end of like every checkout. So it'll come to me every time it gets returned.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of go through it, erase the data, make sure it's all good to go. That way nobody can see anybody else's
Okay.
information.
Well, PHI there, I was just wondering what was
Yeah.
going on. Okay.
And I also wrote a big liability form.
Okay.
Just saying like this does not replace consultation with doctor, it's your responsibility to make doctor's appointments, things like that. As I said, we have no story time or toddler art in May. That's to give Kirsten some time to prep for summer library program. She will be busy for that. We have a program on anxiety coming up on the 18th with Tim Decora, at 6 p.m. Very excited for that. I also just implemented notary office hours. So if you remember at the end of 2021, I got my certification to be a notary public. Now with Shelley not being in the building, she was kind of the main notary, and I was like the backup notary, but now that she's not there, there's been a lot more requests for notary service, so I implemented notary office hours, which is just a time where I'm going to be in the office anyway, and so people can just drop by and know that I'll be there. And I've been communicating that with Danny, and also with my staff, so that if somebody calls, that information ready. And exciting news, at least for me, the local holds pilot project passed and became permanent, so that's something that I have been giving presentations on and getting into arguments about, and so, I am very excited that it's permanent, and it seems like, people are really liking it. I've gotten a lot of, like, nice thank you notes from the smaller libraries, because that means that instead of all of our new items being sent into these bigger municipalities, we're able to retain them at our libraries and in our communities for the first 60 days that we own them, which is great. We have people come in and say, wow, you've got new stuff. So, and our next meeting is on May 16th at 7 p.m.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Bailey. It just doesn't seem like it's been 2 years. I do want to say to the board, though, I sat in on the presentations by the different groups at the library, or looking for studies, and this FEH was the one that I was hoping
Yeah.
to get it, so we just authorized some money. I think it's good money, well spent for those guys, so.
Haley's joking now, she's also been over that.
Get a blood pressure cuff.
One of your kids, there we go. Public Works Committee.
We did not meet, and we were going to meet. We just need to figure it out. When are you ready?
Send a meeting calendar out between the other committee members.
Yeah.
Okay. That guy's probably the busiest one right there.
When can you meet?
I have no scheduled travel until August.
Master of disaster.
We can catch up after this.
All right.
So we don't time up.
Okay.
So I'll go right in the director's report. There's a bunch of locates just with, cable drops and fiber drops, with the frost coming out the last month or so. Also a lot of locating going on with Town and Country coming in and starting to do all the survey work, specifically Ray Street and Webb Street right now. Rush chipping has been in full force, a lot of that, along with compost being hauled. Parks are opened up, bathrooms, ice rinks down, grass mowing has started. We've got a few water meters that have been installed with our replacement program going on. New water softener for the building here. Snow equipment has, for the most part, been put away, cleaned up for the season. We have a bunch of training going on. We have our trainer coming in for the new vac truck tomorrow. Mapping training with our online mapping system, and that will involve Public Works and village office staff, so Danny or Beth could utilize that if they need to for utility questions or anything. Vanguard is looking to purchase a new chipper maybe within the next year, so they've asked us to join them in a chipper demonstration, hopefully Thursday. We have a company doing some sidewalk estimating for trip hazards, ADA issues. We have a truck that's in the shop as of last week for some major repairs.
That was those orange, that's the orange on the
Yep,
sidewalk?
so as you drive around town, there's a bunch of orange on some sidewalk tripping areas, and so that was the start of that project. All I kinda got unless there's questions.
Are we gonna act on that? On the heaving of the sidewalks? Do we have to act on that, or is this just a study? What's going on with it?
Basically just getting a budget number together. They're gonna
Okay.
come out and do some survey work and saying we have this much trip hazards. Now that we've identified trip hazards, it's something that we should probably take care of
Okay.
as a legality, liability issue, and we have a good chunk of sidewalk money set aside this year for those
Okay.
obligations.
Good.
So.
Anything else for Matt?
Yeah.
Parks.
They have not met since. Needs to be set up.
And police has not that either, have they? A lot of scheduling to be done.
Is that next meeting?
Police hasn't met for a long time, they should
Yeah.
really,
Yeah, we'll get one.
they should really,
Have they met this year yet, Jim, police?
January
Yes.
maybe.
January, February.
It was just when Calvin came on,
Okay,
so they meant
Is this,
January.
is this police committee discussion?
yes.
I'm sorry, I accidentally hit the mute button instead of unmuting myself, so my apologies. We've been waiting for the village assignments to be made for the committees. I've been working with Danny. So I hope to get an email out to Danny, Sarah, and Mitch, and hopefully we'll get the next meeting scheduled in the latter part of May, because I am out of town for work next week. So it has been a while. One thing I'm gonna need Danny's help on is determining which officer we want to participate, because I do not think we want to be using them both, especially if Officer Cartman is off duty in the evening and then has to log on for the meeting. So I'll need to know their schedules, I guess, and who's available and when. So that's all I got.
Thanks, Jen.
Yep.
On to for setting up times without becoming a walking quorum. A calendar or an app or something, okay.
Yeah, we can
Just do it individually.
But there's some scheduling software, like a doodle poll. We did that for that other meeting that we were on. Where it sends it out, you click what works for you, and then it all together and says this is the best date for everyone. So it's not like, okay, are you here? And then, okay, are you? A lot of times.
All right. Any other business that may be brought before the board or future agendas?
You want to keep the building maintenance?
Yep, building maintenance.
Thing I've had a thought for a couple of months now is I've been trying to understand what the benefit of doing our own utility, the electric utility payment and collecting that, as opposed to some other option, whether Alliant or MG&E or somebody, I don't know if there's an alternative to the current way that the electrical is done. And I think it would be there's a lot of complaints on electric rates, and just wondering if there's another option that we can look into.
It's not gonna change the rate.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, if it's not gonna change the rate, then why do we do the collection and the hassle and the entry and the labor and the office overhead if we can get the same rate and not have to burden Danny with that or Beth with that?
Sell your.
Oh, you mean,
And
Vanguard.
I'm asking the question.
Go with Alliant, is it Alliant or?
You're not getting rid of Vanguard, you're getting rid of your electric utility, you're
Yeah.
selling.
Well, you're, which is.
So you're gonna pay for
Vanguard.
our electric.
So, yeah,
But if we went strictly to, what are we, Alliant?
Look,
And who's our,
It depends
who's
on,
our energy?
it depends on the buy.
So if Alliant took over whatever, we would just pay their fee.
Which would be higher.
Which would be higher.
Well, kind of, I mean, it depends how you look at it, Vanguard or.
So that's what I'm wondering, is if we didn't do it the way we do, is there an option to get a better or worse rate? That's what I think would be worth looking into or discussing in a future meeting.
Do you need one?
Discuss things
Yeah,
like that.
I mean,
You can put it on the next
You put it
agenda,
on the
I
next one.
think about it.
Should probably be a part of that
Yeah.
conversation.
I don't think no matter who you have, anybody's happy with their electric rates right now, including Alliant, MGD.
But the biggest difference is you don't have the cost of Vanguard. Would be the only difference.
Right. They still figure.
Which is wrapped up in our rate,
You're still
I mean-
paying your rate, so.
yeah.
Yeah, but you're paying a higher rate to have Vanguard than you were if we just went through, if we just went through Alliant, you would get billed for strictly,
Discussion on something.
but yeah, it's been.
We'll put it on the next agenda for further discussion.
It's a complicated one. but-
Yeah.
I'm sure it's gonna require several meetings of discussions.
Probably. We'll open the door.
Yeah.
All right, meeting announcements, board of reviews, May 9th, 6 PM to 8 PM.
So board review people, I'll be sending you the, board review guide.
Yeah.
That agenda will go out this
Yep.
week and, be posted, the notice has already been posted. Open book already happened, there have been no appointments, made for board of review, so it should be pretty,
There's
pretty
that date work for you? Yeah, that should be fine. It works for me. I'll just make sure of Pam before we know it. We shouldn't need an alternate that night, but I
Okay.
think we'll be good.
more info to come, and then I'll have to fix your email, Sarah.
Yeah, I can just call you or stop in tomorrow too, if that's.
And then next village board meeting will be June sixth. June sixth. Is that no, concerts haven't started yet then, have they?
Not yet, that would be for July.
Okay, for July meeting, we'll consider that so that we're not. All right. On the business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Aye.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all very much for bearing with me.
Thank you.
You did great.
We're on your side, Terry.
A lot better than the previous.